Hey, good morning. Welcome to Thinking is Contagious. Day away from D-Day, so get ready. I think Michael Moore is sounding the call to the liberals, to the Democrats, telling them that they're going to get the surprise of their lives. Hopefully he's right. He was last time. He saw it coming, so he's not one of my favorite people, but I'm hoping that he's right this time. I know he's going to be right this time. A couple of things. I don't know if you saw this weekend. Biden, this really shows you the desperation. He called Trump the virus. The virus is Trump. It shows you what we've been saying all along, that has been weaponized. The virus has been weaponized. Up till now, it's been discussed in more shady, nebulous terms. It hasn't really been said, pointed out and made very evident that the weapon is the virus. But I guess they're so desperate now that it doesn't matter. They're saying whatever, and they've basically said Trump is the virus. So that's telling you the virus is their platform. The virus is their hope. The virus is what they're hanging their hat on. The virus is what they are embracing at your cost. And that's what we've always talked about, collateral damage. Thinking is Contagious has been right on the money on that one. Keep that in mind as we move forward. This isn't going to end on Tuesday, this channel. It's going to keep going. We're going to be talking about things that are happening, pro and con. So keep that in mind. Another thing, the Morning Consult, another thing that we've been pointing at is the Morning Consult poll. This morning I saw it, and it's showing Biden up by 10 points nationally upon likely voters. 10 points. And that also is the Thinking is Contagious narrative that we've been talking about. Let's put it out there. This is the liberals. We're willing to lose the battle to win the war. Let's put it out there that we're way ahead, way ahead. And then when they lose on Tuesday, it's cheating. It's Trump's a cheater, manipulated Russia, Ukraine, Hialeah involvement, whatever they want to say, circumvented the voting, the USPS, whatever they want to blame is going to be, and guess what's going to be their answer? Peaceful protesting. You know what peaceful protesting to a liberal is, right? Burn, pillage, loot, steal, threaten you, your family, your lives, your livelihood, your property, your personal property, and most importantly, your freedoms and your safety. We've been talking about this on Thinking is Contagious. Don't forget, we've been telling you about this for 2 months. Unfortunately, it's lining up that way. More than willing, the liberals, collateral damage, more than willing to lose a battle to win the war. The war being bring socialism into this country. The war being the most liberal of senators in Kamala Harris as your president / vice president candidate. And speaking of Kamala Harris, I don't know if you saw this weekend, but the unlikability factor is beginning to play. And again, I'm beginning to sound, I don't want to sound like Trump patting myself on the back, but we've been talking about this unlikability thing, and it's really gotten under the radar. Well, guess what? I was listening to Waters, and I was listening to some Fox News. I was listening on some reading in Reuters, in Yahoo. I've been reading, and this unlikability factor with Kamala Harris, that smile, that laughing. Yahoo had a big article on the laughing today, as a matter of fact, and they actually were talking about her liberal stance. In Yahoo carried the article. It was a article which was not Yahoo based. It was written by it was a conservative post, and I forget who it is. I'm trying to figure it out now. Anyway, they were talking about Kamala Harris and how liberal she is. And she's got $40 trillion in spending that she supported. A 40 trillion with a T, like in Thomas, in the next 10 years. She believes that healthcare, this is a quote from the article, healthcare costs, environment, and housing. She thinks the answer to all those things is more government, more regulation, and more taxes. More taxpayer contribution. That's the quote in the article, that's her answer to all those issues. Regulate, government, big government, and tax you. Is that what you want? Is that what you want? No, it isn't. That's not what makes us grow. That's not what makes us prosper. That's not what makes us healthy, wealthy, and wise. That's not it. The also points out, I was listening this morning to Maria Bartolomé on Fox, and they were pointing out that the silence about the Biden laptop, how the media refuses to cover it, and that the issue is not really, the laptop. We've been saying that also. I mean, didn't it happen? We got to look into it. On the surface, it looks bad. Bobulinski makes it look bad, but we got to investigate it more. We got to see what's there. But that's not the big story. The big story is their lack of coverage, and they point out this morning, Maria did, that the New Yorker magazine, Politico, New York Times, the Washington Post, well before all this broke, back in 16 and 17, they were writing about, they wrote articles about the conflict of interest, potential conflict of interest between Hunter Biden, the Biden brothers, and even if Biden never took a penny, they say that there has to be some concern about the indirect involvement of Joe Biden through Hunter's business dealings with these countries. And that was being written by these liberal, left-leaning media outlets. Once Biden became the nominee, all this went away. There's no more coverage of it. And you can look this up, and I did. And there were articles 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 4 years ago, talking about these very, very concerns by these very, very liberal media outlets. They also jump around a little bit. The platform of Kamala Harris, and we talked about how far liberal she is and how far left she is, and how she believes that everything that has to do with the environment and housing and healthcare is just raise taxes and make government bigger and get government involved more and more and more. And one of the points that were being talked about this morning, and I was reading about, was her platform on housing. And her big belief that she's a big believer in rent control, and that's been an abject failure in California while she's been in California, and it's always been an abject failure in New York. And what it leads to, and all most major economists, recognized economists, say that what this leads to is when you put the artificial controls on rent controls, what it does is disincentivizes people from building rental housing. And what happens there is that with a lack of supply, price goes up. So what it does is it creates a situation where housing is unaffordable. And guess what? When you talk about unaffordable housing, if you look it up in a dictionary, what it's going to show you is a picture of New York and San Francisco. So that shows you the big flaw in Kamala's views as far as housing is concerned. Healthcare, she believes in the government running healthcare. No more private insurance, or very minimal private insurance. Everything is in the hands of the government, and you know what that means also, right? That means that she wants to give free healthcare, free, and we all know what free is. Doesn't mean it's free. It's free to the people who don't pay taxes. But to the rest of us who are paying taxes, all it is ups our ante of what we've got to cover. So free, and she takes those tax dollars from us, puts a little bit of it towards free medicine, and puts the rest of it towards buying votes, which is what this is. The Democrats are buying votes with your tax dollars by promising those who don't pay taxes or pay minimal taxes, or under who new mandate would pay no taxes, that they're going to get all these things for free. Nothing is free, Kamala. Nothing at all. The only thing that exceeds your disdain and lack of respect for the acumen of Americans is your diabolical behavior and the extreme dislikability that you bring to the platform. And that is going to come back and bite the Democrats in the butt. The African American vote, it's showing that Trump is probably going to get pretty close to 20%. And a lot of that, when all this dust settles, and again, we've talked about it, we've been talking about it for several programs, when the dust settles, the great epiphany that the left will come up with, remember this, I really want you to remember that you heard this here and that you've been hearing this here. Kamala Harris cost the Democrats the election. The selection of Kamala Harris cost the Democrats the election. That will be proven. Her unlikability, her lack of being able to capture the African American vote because of her phoniness is going to be a huge, huge piece of this equation. I don't know if you guys have heard about Blexit, and I don't know if you've heard of Candace Owens, who is the author of Blackout, and she is just spectacular. And basically what it boils down to, her narrative this morning that I saw her on TV, was that the Democrats come around every 4 years and promise the black community how much they're going to help them, how much they're going to give them, how much they're entitled to, how much they've been abused, and how big of a victims that they've been. After the elections are over, they go away and they don't care about the black community. And that is the fact. And this woman, Candace Owens, brilliantly, young, articulate woman, comes across and really explains the situation and says that the black community has to understand that they are not victims, that they are not being kept from opportunity, that they are not the white supremacy issue has to go away. Accountability, grasp the opportunity, move forward. She's a big proponent of school vouchers. She's a big proponent of educating the youth in the African American community and telling them, you're not a victim. You can achieve. You will achieve. You are smart. You are capable. You have all the opportunity in the world. The entire world comes to the United States of America seeking opportunity. You are here. Seize it. Accept responsibility, accept accountability, decide that you're going to achieve, decide where you're going to go. Don't listen anymore to what the people who need you to support them. They need you to support them. That politician that's telling you how much they're going to do for you every 4 years and then disappears and has done nothing for you for the last 50 years. Nothing's going to change. Joe Biden has been saying for 47 years, every 4 years, what he's going to do for everybody, and he hasn't done anything. Nothing is going to change. The definition of insanity, keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, we expect a different result. That's what happens if you vote for the Democrats. Think you're going to get a different result. You're not. They're the party of the Dixiecrats. They're the party of George Wallace. They're the party of Strom Thurmond. They're the party of KKK. They're the party of the Jim Crow laws. They're the parties of segregation. They're the parties against busing. They're the parties against school choice, school vouchers. They are the party for entitlements. They are the party for saying that white supremacy and racism is what's keeping blacks down, and it's not. The entire world comes to this country for opportunity, which exists. The entire country comes for freedom, which exists. Religious and social freedoms, which exist. This is the land where you need to be. You're here. Take advantage. Don't listen to the Democrats anymore. You don't need them. You don't need to vote for them. They're not going to do anything for you. Nothing at all. All they want you to do is rely on them so that they get your vote. And all they're willing to give you is a few scraps off of the feeding trough from which they're engorging themselves. They're making billions, and they're throwing you a couple of little shekels every few days. That's not the way it works. You're entitled to everything that's on the table. And the day that you say, I am going to seize it, I am going to go get it, I don't believe in this anymore, I don't believe in this lie that's keeping us down, that's when all will change. That's when all will change. And we're in the process of changing it. Donald Trump was in the process of changing it. And don't forget what Joe Biden said. Donald Trump is the virus. That shows you That shows you their platform. The virus. The virus is being used. It's been calculated 130 million people are on the verge of starvation on the face of the earth because of the shutdowns of the virus. They're willing to do whatever it takes. The virus has been weaponized. Here in the United States, he's threatening with shutdowns. He's threatening with closing down the economy. They don't care about you. They don't care about the economy. I guarantee you there hasn't been one paycheck interruption for the senators and the congressmen and the politicians and the lobbyists. There hasn't been one paycheck interruption. Their insurance is intact fully. The gold Cadillac plan. Okay? When Donald Trump, this beginning of this year, where was black unemployment? Where was minority unemployment? Where was female unemployment? Where was female wage equities? Where was the economy? Where was the stock market? Where was everything going? It was unstoppable. Record unemployment among minorities, record home ownership, record improvement in median income, record improvement in home ownership, record. Okay? And like never been seen before in this country. Where was it? They couldn't win. They knew it. When this weapon was put in their hands, the virus, they seized it. They had put Joe Biden as their nominee because they knew they were going to lose, and they were willing to burn him. But all of a sudden, they got this, what they consider this opportunity in the virus, and they're riding with it, and they're riding Biden with it. And they're hoping that they can use this Trojan horse to infiltrate Washington, D.C. with the disease that is Kamala Harris and Elizabeth Warren and AOC and Omar and Bernie Sanders and Mayor Pete and all these people. That disease of socialism, which is where everyone, here in South Florida, I talk to the Venezuelans, I talk to the Cubans, I talk to everyone. They know what's going on, and they cannot believe that the American people do not see this attempt to bring socialism fast and furious forward to all of us. Stop it. Stop it. Get out there right now, Monday, tomorrow, Tuesday. Vote. Vote Trump. Vote liberty. Vote freedom. Vote opportunity. Vote growth. Vote the future. Vote for your kids and vote for your grandkids. God bless you. Trump 2020 and beyond. And remember what I'm telling you. He's going to win. He's going to win well by comfortable margin. And if the liberal left and the Democrats don't cooperate and allow him to get the work done that this country has elected him for the last 4 years and will elect him for the next 4 years, if they keep getting in the way, the left, I say there's precedent. I say FDR was precedent. I said FDR was elected 4 times because the country felt that they were in a situation where they could not afford to change leadership, change the horse. We're in the same thing. If the left does not cooperate, it's Trump 2020 and beyond. Thank you. Vote and vote Trump.